Sam Feltham, Director of the Public Health Collaboration here. Just setting up today's Instagram Live with Davinia Taylor. So let me just head on over to invite her. Excellent. Davinia's there already. What a superstar. She should appear any moment. So I've accepted. I'm just waiting on the Instagram back end to sort that out. So I'm sure she'll be along any moment. Okay. Let's try that again. Oh, Davinia, how are we doing?
Good, thank you. I just got back from London. I was at the, oh, that's
Yeah.
smiling. I just got back from the Health Optimization Summit last night, which was
Oh,
really
great.
intense. Yeah.
Yeah,
All
I
like the
bet.
big biohacking bros
Yes.
and all like your let's
How
see,
was it? How
your
was
Ben
it?
Greenfields and your flipping
Yeah.
Gary Breckers and all those like
Oh,
flipping.
awesome.
Yeah, it was good. Oh, Barbara O'Neill was there as well. I
Oh,
didn't get
cool.
to see her speak, but one of the
No.
girls recorded it. I actually warmed up for her. I was a
Oh,
warm-up
well
act,
done. Oh, brilliant.
which has got to
Excellent.
be it's got to be something because the people absolutely
Oh,
love
it
it.
is.
And I think I introduced her as Babs O'Neill, like Babs Wings, and I'm like, oh
Love
no,
it.
oh no,
That's proper Northern, that is.
yeah, I'm like shit. Anyway, but
You're right, Babs.
I know, I can't help it. I just get a bit of stage fright, and I get over familiar. I've never even met her
Love it.
before.
Love it.
Anyway.
Oh, bless.
Oh,
Oh, that's
someone's
good though.
inroads. Lovely.
Oh,
Guys,
yes, isn't
it's
it?
lovely to see you again. How's everything going?
Absolutely.
Because I must say, I love the Health Optimization Summit. Very dopamine led. It's all about
Yeah.
peptides, light, and snazzy and everything.
Yeah.
But your
Yeah.
one, your
Yeah.
your one is the foundations. So if you don't get the foundations
Oh,
right,
bless you.
if you don't get the foundations right, you're not going to feel everything
Yeah.
else further down the line. And that was the
Yeah.
message from. I mean, I
Hmm.
was talking to Jay Campbell, who's like the
Right.
peptides guy. And
Yeah.
peptides are the next big thing. Like,
Yes.
obviously, we've got
Yeah.
GLP-1. He's talking about
Sure.
GLP-5. You know what I mean?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
He's talking about copper peptides. He's talking about BPC
Right.
157. But he said,
Yes. Yeah.
if you don't get your diet right, you don't get your sleep
Yes.
right, you
Yeah.
don't get your your relationships right, it's all a
100%.
freaking waste of money and time.
Exactly. Got to get the basics right.
And the basics are what you guys
Yeah.
teach. And
Yeah.
for me, what I did when I changed my lifestyle to what you guys are talking about,
Mm.
that's when
Brilliant.
everything slotted into place. That's when I could access deep sleep. That's when I could access high dopamine.
Magic.
That's when I could
Yeah.
feel
Yeah.
cozy serotonin. So
Yeah.
ultimately, it's very seductive, all the fandangled lights and
Isn't
technology and
it?
blue blocking this, that, and the other, and
Hmm.
regeneration beds. But if you're fighting inflammation because of, shitty
Yeah.
food, you've not got a cat
Yeah.
and else chance to feel the joy, have you?
That's it. It really is an uphill battle, and kind of the 9 words of common sense that we try to reiterate every time we talk about this is eat real food, avoid fake food, be active every day. Those are kind of the 9 words of common sense that I think all of us can agree on
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
real food movement. So yeah, no, basics is vital in terms of reclaiming your health and fueling your future. And kind of on that point, that's kind of what we're getting at next year with the theme Nourish to Flourish for PHC 2026. And I'm so excited that you're going to be there, Davinia, and you're going to be chairing the Women's Health panel. Super excited for that. But before we kind of get into the nitty gritty of all of that,
Yeah.
I was just wondering, where did you actually come across the public health collaboration in the first place?
Listen, I'm always trying to look for like-minded people. And
Yeah,
I think, let me see, I think I might have been stalking Dr. Anthony Chafee,
that'll do
because I
it.
was really interested in the
Yeah,
whole, I mean, as most of us were, really, when we saw this
yeah,
Avenger turn up, who's also a neuroscientist, who's also really kind and lovely and got a gorgeous family. Anyway, no, I mean, I was
yeah,
interested. Basically, it was when I started understanding how detrimental, like, processed carbs were. So I looked to the extreme.
mm,
I saw Sean Baker online. I think he had done
yeah,
a post with Anthony Chafee, and then I started
yeah,
looking at the carnivore movement. And I've
hmm
always like sort of like looking at extreme parts of society anyway, just out of,
yeah.
because I'm always in the middle. I'm
Curiosity.
always middle
Yeah,
ground. I always want
totally.
to,
Yeah, yeah.
I always kind of sit in the middle. So I'm not completely
Uh-huh.
carnivore. I'm not completely keto. I'm kind of
Yeah,
metabolically flexible. I have done both,
yeah,
but
yeah.
I think it was that way around. And then I saw he was speaking, and I thought I've got to go see
Mm,
this guy for myself. And it was then
yes.
I saw Ben
Yeah,
Bickman and I saw
yeah, yeah,
Dr. Unwin, and I'm like, Dr. Unwin's
yeah.
he's not even in Perth like Anthony Chafee is. He's just down the road in Southport. I'm like,
Exactly.
he's like
Of
there.
all
And like he's
places.
like, it's just like it's
Yeah.
not like this mad LA or this mad Australian
No.
dream, or he's just like
Hmm.
virtually the same postcode. He's in the same district as me. So I'm like, oh great,
Amazing.
I've got a little tribe going on that understand. And do you know what? For me as a mum who left
Yeah,
school to be a bloody actor, I don't have
yeah.
much pull in the medical field. So I can
Hmm.
literally piggyback on these people and just like give them some sort of like some sort of like publicity and saying, how do we do it as regular moms? Because
Yeah,
forgive me, but
precisely.
I do believe the power of the purchase is still very much with the mother. We do
Yeah,
decide what the kids eat.
yeah.
And I
Hmm.
know we have a lot of social pressures, economic pressures, but what
Yeah.
your gang do really well is
Mm.
make it much more accessible. And it's what I'm trying to do. It's what I'm trying
Thank
to
you.
do in Willpower this,
Yeah,
and just like strip back all
yeah,
the ingredients and
yeah.
and just
Totally.
make a more ancestral lifestyle a bit easier to
Yeah,
do. I mean, just like
yeah.
recipes with
Exactly.
mince. I mean, every
Yeah.
food, every mealtime doesn't have to be party food, which is
No.
unfortunately what we've got going on. Every
Yes.
time it's like,
Massively.
that it really does feel like party food from in the 80s when we used to
Yeah.
go to a party in the 80s. Um,
Yeah.
that's what the kids seem to have at lunch at school and
Yeah.
at tea time, because
Absolutely.
that's what we've been brought up on. It's fast,
That's
it's
it.
convenient, it's cheap, but it's not
Yeah.
food. It's not nurturing, is
No.
it? So I'm trying to bring the message
Not at
back.
all.
Meat and two veg, what your gran would recognize as food. It's not.
Exactly.
It's boring. It's boring, but
Yeah.
fucking hell, let's be bored for
But it's
once. Let's be
yeah,
bored. Let's stop spoiling our palates. And I think that's ultimately what it is.
100%.
you know
Yeah, exactly. And there has to be like a massive recalibration of people's palates with what's going on, because I mean I'm a dad of two, 8 and 3, so I'm kind of trying my best with everything, and they're like 99% real food, but it's the times that they go to parties and there's cakes. And then also, I mean, just at school dinners. So she has a bit of a mix and match of, when they do have real food on the menu, then she has, the school lunches, and then on the days that there isn't, and luckily you kind of know up front what it's going to be that day. She has a packed lunch made by me, but always at the school dinners, they're offered like sticky toffee pudding,
yeah.
ice cream, things like every single day. I just don't understand, why is that on offer every single day for kids? Like,
I
just put
mean,
a
I
bowl of fruit
think
out. I mean,
for me, I guess it kind of all went a bit wrong when we started counting calories rather than nutrition, and we
yeah,
started like
yeah,
I suppose it was like the eat well plate. You
Hmm.
know, like
Yeah.
Zoe Harcum's work was great.
Yeah.
I've seen
Hmm.
her speak a few times, and for
Yeah.
her, well, when she debunked it all, and then it was just about
Yeah.
what the agricultural industry was funding this Eat
Hmm.
Well plate, or in America, it was the food pyramid, wasn't it? I
Exactly.
think that's where it
Yeah.
went wrong when we
Yeah.
stopped eating
Big
for
time.
satiety and we started eating for
Yeah.
numbers, you
Hmm.
know, and then we
Yeah.
got, you know, like we don't know when we've had enough. We don't eat
Yeah.
intuitively anymore because A, we can't, because
Yeah.
we've got hyper palatable food that will
Hmm.
that will override how much you've eaten, because basically it's triggering dopamine, addictive sort of
Yeah.
mechanism within your body. So within 15 minutes you're
Massively.
onto a snacky snack again. That's another
Hmm.
conversation. But ultimately, I think we've had our whole systems hijacked by big food,
Yeah.
and they've just come in with a solution with like GLP-1 now. And it's like, it's
Hmm.
glaringly obvious to those of us who have been in this space, even for like flipping 15 minutes, you can see how it works. You know, it's
Yeah.
none of us are stupid. You know, we all
No.
went through the pandemic. We could all see what was going on. You know,
Hmm.
we're all flipping long in the tooth. But then it's it then they've got us with the time management. Not only have they got
Yeah.
us with a hyperpalatable food that starts with
Exactly. Yeah.
bloody baby formula, it literally, I mean, by the way, I didn't breastfeed any of my kids,
Yeah.
so I know
Right.
it's what
Yeah.
it
There
is.
you
I know
go.
exactly what it
Yeah.
is. And literally from day one, they've got you. And there's no
Yeah.
conspiracy. It's big business. This is what makes the world go
Yeah.
round. Money makes the world go round. There's no
It
flipping
really is.
conspiracy about it.
Yeah.
They're there for the
Just
shareholders.
convenience.
You know, you
Convenience and
know,
profit.
yeah, it is, and that's the world we live in,
Yeah.
and you know, like it all over. I
Yeah.
mean, don't get me wrong, I'd much rather live in the 21st century than the 17th century.
Yeah.
I love my heating, I love my
Yeah.
telly, but you
Yeah.
know,
You bet.
we just got to be a bit wise. You know, we've got big
That's it.
conglomerates; they want to make money out of us,
Hmm.
and if we can bring stews back, that's my
Yeah.
new thing. Bring back the
Brilliant.
stew. I
Yeah.
hated stews as a kid, but my gran made
Right.
it. It was
Yeah.
brown, but you know, you had your
Yeah.
stew and
It
then
was
you got,
nutritious. Yeah.
you know, and it's cheap. It doesn't have to be expensive cuts, you know,
Bingo.
proper. And
Exactly.
I suppose you can do it
Yeah.
with all like the big, you know, like I don't have any sort of like technical stuff in the house actually, you know, like all the crock pots and
Yeah.
everything. I've got a
Yeah.
small
Yeah.
kitchen. I need a bigger house really. All the boys are getting children now. And I
Oh,
should
as well.
really, that could be my new thing this Christmas, crock pots and
Yes.
stuff. That could be
Oh,
what
definitely.
I'll get into.
Slow cookers are the way forward. I did a lamb breast slow cooker meal the other day because lamb breast it's really quite chewy, really chewy because it's one of the cheaper lamb cuts. So it's like a super cheap lamb cut. So you've got to put it in the slow cooker if you really want it to actually be tender. And it was in there for a good 12 hours. But you know, you do it in the morning, you come back in the evening, and it's all ready to rock. You just serve it up, and it's super tender, and it was super cheap. So yeah, lamb breast is one for people to try.
Speak to me about metabolic flexibility and kids,
Right.
because this is kind
Yeah.
of like an area that is like
Hmm.
particularly coming back from the HOS, and I was talking to a company called Deliverance who do
Right.
liver tests on kids and adults, and hallelujah,
Mm.
my liver was clear, it was great.
Well done.
I got green. I got green. It's like almost like an
Yeah.
ultrasound. But they say they're doing more and more tests on kids, and they've got
Yeah.
non-alcoholic fatty liver disease caused by
Yeah.
fruit
Yeah.
shoots. You know, like
Uh
these
huh.
fruity drinks. It's
Hmm.
like one of your five a
Hmm.
day, like innocent and things like
Hmm.
that. And obviously
Hmm.
the cereal, the heart healthy cereal, because most kids have got great
Exactly.
hearts anyway.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
your thought on that? And how are we going to?
Yeah.
How is a company, well, a charity like yours, how are you going to tell the
Yeah.
NHS what's glaringly
Yeah.
obvious and they need to wake up
Hmm.
and smell the coffee? I
Yeah.
mean, maybe even have a coffee as opposed to a granola.
Well, yeah, quite possibly. But I mean, for us, we're coming at it from several different angles. So when it comes to the NHS, our main focus is type 2 diabetes remission in adults for the time being. And that's really starting to take off in terms of we recently co-authored a letter with Expert Health, who's a like-minded charity, but also the British Dietetics Association, who's like the mainstream dietitians group. And we urged NICE, being the medical guidelines organisation in the UK, to include low carb in the NICE guidelines for type 2 diabetes. And so that's been a massive step forward, because when we first launched as an organisation, we were a bit at loggerheads with the BDA, but now we're really starting to see agreement between us both in terms of including this with the BDA, and it's just about convincing NICE that the evidence that is available is evident that type 2 diabetes can be put into remission through a low carbohydrate diet, and then that'll trickle down to the children's guidelines as well eventually. But the other big problem, of course, is schools, and what I was just talking about before in terms of, you know, what's actually served up on the plate, and what's actually taught in schools as well. So they're still obviously teaching the Eat Well guide, which you mentioned before, which has been massively debunked. And one of the big problems that I've got in my kind of foresight is that now that Public Health England no longer exists, the Eat Well guide was published by Public Health England with a few other organisations around the UK, but they were the lead on it. And now that the Public Health England no longer exists, nobody has responsibility for it. So it's completely out of everybody's hands, and it's slipping through the cracks, because the last time we had an update was almost 10 years ago now. And in the US, they have a mandate that they have to update it every 5 years. And the one that's going to be coming out soon, Nina Teicholz will be updating us on that at the conference next year, which is going to be really interesting to see, because obviously there's the Make America Healthy Again movement, and that's going to have a massive influence on the next set of USDA guidelines, and that will reverberate around the world. So hopefully that'll be helpful.
But basically, we kind of copy and paste what the Americans do. So as much as people may hate the Trump administration or whatever, or you hate Bobby for switching sides, all that, whatever, this transcends politics or whoever's in power, clearly, exactly. Because the Eat Well play literally lasted for 30 years, didn't it?
Yeah, in one form or another. So
and
it started off with,
we saw the epidemic of type 2 diabetes, based on every single doctor's you went in, every dentist, every home economics class. It all had that Eat Well plate, or in America the food pyramid. So they could actually flip. It's easier to see it as the American food pyramid, because they had like meat and fat at the top, very, very small, didn't they? It will flip, won't it? So it will be meat and natural fats. Don't want to be like too, controversial, but you know what I like about seed oils. Bloody hell, honestly. I think it'll just completely inverse, won't it? So we got it 100% wrong.
Totally, and it's just nutrient dense food should be the basis of your diet, and that includes meat and fish and cheese and eggs and things like that. Like, those are the most nutrient dense foods that are available. So it should form the basis of your diet, and everything else goes on top to support, really. Following that, as well as trying to kind of come at it from that political angle, we are actually going into schools and delivering the Real Food Rebellion, which is our schools-based project, both in primary and secondary. We've just done a pilot this year with 700 primary school kids and 700 secondary school kids. And we're just polishing up the materials to properly launch it in the new year, and really excited to see where we can take that, because basically one of the things that we found out during that process of pilots is actually kind of coming up against the teachers almost, because they're understanding can often just come from the media as well. And so you often have teachers that can be, and I hate to bring up the issue, but quite plant-based focused, and particularly with the angle of the environment. And so they'll nudge their students away from meat and fish on that basis, rather than kind of from a nutritional standpoint. And even then, there's lots of detail within that, and we try to go into that with the Real Food Rebellion. So we're encouraging young people to include meat and fish. So we're going up against the grain a little bit.
What completely gazumps the whole environmental thing is we are not, and I'm certainly not, you're not. I mean, I'll turn the camera around and you'll see where I am now. I'm surrounded by fields. We are about regenerative farming, which is the only solution to any sort of climate change. And if you think for 1 minute, monocrops in China, where soy comes from, covered in glyphosate and many others, using absolute acres and hectares of land to create soy, versus there's like cows all around here where I am in Lancashire who are just wandering around doing what they do, defecating on the floor, putting nitrates back into the soil, creating regenerative farming. And I'm like, these people are our teachers. They should be the ones who educate the truth, not propaganda. And it really frustrates me. So one of my best mates, she teaches food tech, and she said it's really frustrating. Like the polyunsaturated fatty acid reference still there, the low fat. And she's like, I can't teach it. I can't teach it anymore, because she said it's bullshit. She goes, I know from my own personal experience. She's 52. She says She said, for me to recommend that you should have low fat diet and expect to have your mental health, low saturated fat diet and expect to have your mental health, is insane. It's insane. Our brains need it.
Yeah.
You know, and then you're going to start giving boys, girls soy when already the hormones are all over the place. One of the biggest endocrine disruptors in the world. You know, it's
really not helpful.
It's not helpful, but it's the whole fact that it's like it's so blinkered. The fact that they'll like import all the way from China, even on aeroplanes, tons and tons of soy to make soy products. I mean, because obviously you don't grow it in Lancashire. I mean, literally, look at the rain.
Yeah.
It's torrential. But I've got cows out there and sheep out there who are out there for 10 years, brilliant. you know, milking cows. And then they go to slaughter, and that's the way of the world, and that's how it's always been. I mean,
it's the circle of life, as Mufasa would say.
Yeah, it is. Anyway, back to students. Right, so you mentioned I mentioned Dr. David Unwin.
Yes.
Now, his wife did something, because when I came to see you a couple of years ago, what did she manage to get ultra-processed food categorised as a disease? Can you just talk?
Not just yet. So they're still working on that. Yeah, so there is progress, and they're reapplying. So they had made the application, but it was denied. Having got the feedback from the WHO subcommittee, and I think just off the top of my head, it's like DSC 10 committee or something like that, that they're having to apply to. So they're redoing the application in order to redo it. And particularly the fact that over the past couple of years, some more research papers have come out, and there's definitely been a shift in kind of like, the public view that, food addiction is real. Everybody knows that. The big food companies know that because they've got a bliss point. They create a bliss point so that you eat more of it. It's
I mean, all you have to do is ask the manufacturers of Mongiorno and Ozempic what their bottom line is, and then you'll see how. I mean, honestly, because it's exactly the same, and I come from it from a point of view as an alcoholic. So I've got friends who have drank way more than me, but they don't get the same reaction as me.
No,
that's right. And I know that reaction is there when it comes to ultra processed food. I can feel it light up my brain. I can feel dopamine jumping around, and most importantly, I can feel the come down 15 minutes later, and that makes me reach for a Kit Kat. It's the same mechanism. It's not as heightened with alcohol as it is with alcohol women. It's the same mental pathway. And unfortunately, I don't get it with gambling. But some people do. I mean, there's no shame in it. These products have done exactly what they said on the tin. And once you pop, you can't stop. They advertise it. I mean, it's glaringly obvious, isn't it?
It is. It's awful. So basically, that's in hand, unfortunately. So all of this change is really, decadal, and kind of that brings me back to the conference next year. Next year will be our 10-year anniversary.
Right.
So it's one not to miss. The theme being Nourish to Flourish, and you're going to be chairing the women's health panel that I'm really excited for. Now, we've announced so far Dr. Isabella Cooper, who's a researcher at the University of Westminster. And for those that came to the conference this year, I think everybody's minds was blown away about the amount of detail she went into on mitochondria and cancer metabolism and all of that jazz. Now, next year, she's really going to get into the nitty gritty of female hormones, and particularly kind of longevity. And then in complement to that is Dr. Wafa Abdel Hadi, who's an oncologist and a functional medicine doctor as well. So she's going to be coming at it from that angle as well, which is going to be really exciting to hear. And we've got one more female firm, so watch this space, everyone, about who's going to be joining that women's health panel and session on that at the conference next year.
I mean, I think it'll be it'll be really interesting, because obviously women's health is so misunderstood, and the fact that we get told as soon as we hit menopause to basically go vegan, have a low fat diet, don't hashtag be kind to yourself, do some journaling instead of weights. I mean, it's everything is set up against us. And I mean, I'm no big fan of GLP-1, but when you're looking at the absolute addiction that women have, of course we've had. I mean, when you're a mum and everything, you have these cake days, you have even breast cancer cake days. You know what I mean? It's pushed on you. Treat yourself. Everything's pink and stuff. We've literally been conditioned from the age of 14 to take the pill, ramp up all your hormones, and then treat yourself when you're stressed with sugar. And it's like we have been geared up for an absolute chemical shitstorm in our hormones. And I don't think there's a woman alive with actual optimal hormones. And I don't know what that baseline is. And I think that's why everyone scratches their head. How do we prevent women from getting breast cancer while giving them a load of estrogen, while avoiding testosterone? I mean, it's all over the place, because I think this is going to be. And you know what? I think a lot of women who've been addicted to food, and it will be a disease soon, because I know meetings about Overeaters Anonymous. It's exactly the same as Alcoholics Anonymous. It's exactly the same as Narcotics Anonymous. It's the same 12-step program. I know women in there, both bulimic and overeaters. It is the same mental situation. But even with GLP-1, what's happening, right? They've seen a bit of hope for once. And all of a sudden, they might be able to change the indoctrination of a lifetime of what doctors, big food, institutions, and society have told them. And I'm hoping that when GLP-5 is out, that they're not going to lose their muscle mass, they're not going to lose their bone density, and they can create a new habit by, I don't know, not relying on food for comfort anymore. Like, I don't rely on alcohol anymore. So there's a rewiring as well. Brilliant. But I'm just thinking it's an amazing drug that's happened. There will be side effects, but there's a little bit of hope there that science actually might have a stepping stone. I don't think we're there yet. But and then I'm thinking, then we can get back to, right, now you're going to come off your jab or whatever it is in 5 years time, and we can actually have nutrition, so you feel satiated all the time. Your testosterone will be high, your estrogen detox will be optimal, your brain function will be great because you've got good fats, and you can unlearn all the habits that we've been taught since we were little girls, and I think it's a very strange moment in time with GLP-1
It
coming out,
is.
and
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
perfect, but it's
No.
like, okay, let's let's with caution look at it, but
Hmm.
ultimately let's
Hmm.
rewire the brain so we don't need it, and let's get
Exactly.
back to
Yeah.
enjoying our stews. And
Yeah.
then actually
Exactly.
it's nothing, it's just a stew, and then you're getting on with your life and you're doing something, you're creating a new
Yeah.
business, or you're being a
Yeah.
grandmother, or I don't know, you're
Yeah.
doing I don't know,
Yeah.
an ultra run or 80, I don't know.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
where my head's at it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's not a
Definitely.
bit.
And yeah, no, we kind of we had this discussion at this year's conference about GLP-1s and its potential utility. So, like everything, it's a tool that can be useful in certain situations, and food addiction can be one of those. Where and Ellen, who heads up our Liberate project,
Yeah,
talks about it. It actually, particularly if you were to microdose it, maybe for like 3 months at the beginning, it can actually help reduce with the food noise, so that you can get on the right path in terms of a real food diet. So that then, after a few months of that, then you've gotten past the the little nagging voice in your head saying, "Oh, go get some biscuits, go get eat cereal straight out of the box," or something
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, no, it's got its utility, but
Yeah, I mean,
for
I think it's good for like withdrawal, the
yeah,
initial withdrawal,
exactly. Yep,
and then
yep,
and then
yep.
that's it. I mean,
Bingo. And then you
don't get me
wean off
wrong.
of it.
There's loads
Yep.
of other peptides and stuff that, I mean, the peptide
Mm.
genie's out the bottle now. We
Hmm.
can't possibly
Hmm.
just like put that back in.
No,
There's too many
no.
people looking like friggin' Avengers, like at 58, like having the best time ever with great brain function. Their eyesight's coming back, their hormones are
Yeah,
level. I mean, but ultimately, you and I know that you can activate your own GLP-1 from having
absolutely.
a higher fat,
Yeah,
higher natural fat,
yeah,
nutrient dense. But
yeah.
it's the conditioning of the
Totally.
excitement. It's the fancy
Yeah,
packaging,
yeah,
it's the glucose hit that
yeah.
everyone misses.
The
And I
whole
know that
thing, the
because,
whole package.
I was the same with wine. I was the same with
Yeah.
wine.
Oh,
It's one of
it's
them.
so tough. Yeah,
Well,
but
but it's
hopefully
doable. Yeah, I can do it.
it is
Wine's everywhere.
exactly.
I don't even see it. I go into a pub and I'm looking, oh God,
Oh, amazing.
you know what I mean? I don't see it anymore. And that's what the
Oh, that's
difference is.
great.
I can walk
Awesome.
through the supermarket. I remember in the early days,
Yeah.
I couldn't go near the alcohol bit
No.
because I'd start
Exactly.
fantasizing.
Hmm.
But I don't
Yeah.
see it now. I just walk past it,
That's
and
brilliant. Yeah.
that's how that's what happens. The body wants to thrive. It doesn't want to be an addiction. But
Certainly
and
not.
I think that's where we're coming around. And I think what you're teaching, you guys are teaching, is it's common sense. And that's the
I
most
like to think
frustrating
so.
thing. That's the most frustrating
Yeah.
thing when I see someone like Dr.
Yeah.
David Unwin being told he needs to put people on
Hmm.
metformin, and he's curing
Yeah.
type 2 diabetes with just a few months of a lower carb,
Yeah.
not zero carb, lower
Yeah.
carb
Yeah.
diet,
Even. Yeah.
and that he's like dangerous. You just think, wow, we really do live
What
in
is
a
going on?
clown world.
It really is. But hopefully we can dispel a lot of these myths at the conference next year.
Can't wait.
And as I said before, so excited to have you up on stage because, as you said before, you came a couple of years ago, and I thought you, from the audience, you asked some really incredible questions. So I thank you for that. But I'm really looking forward to you chairing the Women's Health Panel on the 16th and 17th of May, 2026 in London. And at the moment, we do have a super early bird ticket offer, but that ends on the 6th of October. So folks, if you do want to get the best possible price for our 10-year anniversary conference, make sure that you go to phcukconference.org, and then you can find out all the information. And I believe our social media manager is putting the links in the comments, so people check it out. And otherwise, I mean, Davinia, I'm so excited that you're going to be there. And thank you again for all your support. You've been massively helpful in pushing the envelope on through every bit of media that you do. So
Every
thank
time.
you from the
I
bottom of my
mean,
heart.
like I said, it's just bloody common sense, right? Let's just roll it back a couple of generations until we started getting all fandangled. I think what I can do is I can ask the guys at Will Powders to put it on our Facebook group as well, so that just because I know everyone's working right now. But honestly, I love what you do. Keep fighting the fight. The tides are changing. Common sense is coming back, and hopefully we'll all live more resilient, stronger, more exciting lives rather than being in carb comas all the time, which are really hard work and they just feel like a hangover to me. Sam, thank you.
Proper. Davinia, thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
You too.
And I'll see you next year.
See you next year. Bye.
Cheers, Vidas. Bye.